What's this limit? The story begins on another planet, during a meeting of the Angel of Galaxies, led by President Malaji Meld al-Nabi. Dr. Janba, who protects the galaxies from biological threats, is involved due to a legendary limit that requires the president to meet with galaxy officers and commanders. Hope is an experiment without authorization. It resulted in the creation of a savage creature called 626. The president at the time asked Janba to describe the creature's characteristics to help determine if it could coexist with them, or if they should execute it or take other measures. Dr. Janba informs the Galactic Council that creature 626 is incredibly intelligent, surpassing the combined intellect of 100 computers and unmatched by anyone. Of course, that kind of talk makes everyone in the council nervous, so they're all scared of this wild creature. But the head of the council gives 626 a chance to prove that he has some good inside him. 626, he starts jumping around, yelling, spitting, and licking the glass, basically acting gross and trapped in a glass container. The president decided to exile 626 to the farthest reaches of the universe and shut down Dr. Janba's lab. They quickly started the exile procedures, and they have to take 626's genetic fingerprint first. So you see the machines tracking his drool, and as soon as the doctor comes in to take the fingerprint, he spits on him. The machines go haywire, and 626 manages to escape. He escapes, gets on a spaceship, and takes off with it. Then the chief, with her dramatic attitude, orders them to destroy him. But is it really that easy? Dr. Janba confirms that 626 is smarter than galaxies, capable of outsmarting anything. He flies the ship to Earth, our beloved planet. At this point, Dr. Janba enters. He offered to fix his mistake by traveling to Earth and bringing back 626 if the council chief allowed him. Pleakley, an Earth creature specialist, interrupts and requests to join Dr. Janba. The dramatic chief agrees on the condition that Pleakley accompanies him to protect Earth's environment and biology. God and kind aliens, right, Uncle? Really? On Earth, we meet Lilo, a beautiful Hawaiian girl who loves animals. She's seen feeding fish and visiting a farmer with a book to protect them, because they have the right to live in freedom after that. Lilo, late for dance practice, hurries to catch up. When she arrives, her classmates make fun of her for not having friends. At the party, Lilo gets nervous seeing all the other kids. At least everything is there except for the chair where Lilo's family's supposed to sit. Meanwhile, the girl dancing with Lilo on stage pushed her. Lilo, nervous, pushed back, causing the girl to fall off the stage as well. After the party ends, Nani, who is Lilo's sister, arrives late because her car broke down. And of course, Lilo was upset with her as usual. After that, she went home, stood by herself, and when Nani came, she found a note on the door saying, "Go away." She tried to get inside the house and found it. Madame Keiko or Kiki Kiki, what's her name? Keiko, yes, her name is Madame Keiko. We know that she's the specialist social worker responsible for Lilo. Nani and the specialist. They didn't know how to enter the house until they went to the back door. Nani gave him a shoulder, signaling he would break the door, and they went in. And of course, the house is basically falling apart. And the social worker tells Nani that she has to write a report about what she's seeing so she can remain Lilo's guardian. And here we find out that Lilo's mother and father are actually dead. Nani, Lilo's sister, is responsible for her. Anyway, the social worker gives her one last chance to fix things. And as soon as the social worker leaves, they started arguing until she told her sister how much her friends at school upset her, like your mother's painting. At that moment, Lilo noticed movement in the sky, but was distracted before she could focus on it. And sometimes Leia's mother wished she had a friend, and she wished he would be a real friend, someone strong who wouldn't leave her and walk away. Lilo's father wished the best for her while treating her. What matters is that you know this, and she sees it. 626 repeatedly broke his spaceship until it crashed on Earth, where he's now celebrating, and he's dancing. He escaped from them, but he has a collar that shocks him and makes him lose his strength. And the one who controls the collar and makes it shock him is Dr. Janba. Basically, he's in trouble. They want to get rid of 626, and the only way is to put pressure on him by threatening his future and his entire lab. But Pleakley occasionally realizes that the collar will help them locate 626, given 626 is superior intelligence. He was trying to remove the collar so no one could get close to him. So sometimes he would go to the public electricity, take a wire, and put it, "You crazy kid," in the collar, in the collar, in the collar, in the collar. Then, after that, he would put the collar back on and remove it again, and so on. Dr. Janba and Pleakley will follow the chaos to find him, knowing his love for it, even if they can't locate him directly. A bull who fancies Umri and Wahida is found. The wedding involves some breaking of items and jumping about. All he does is steal cakes, and because of how much sugar he eats, he can't see straight, so he ends up in front of a tour bus, and one day it hits him and knocks him over. Janba and Pleakley. Given their appearance, they couldn't survive on Earth. Each touches a human, sometimes transforming into their shape, and begins their search. After the bus incident, the Animal Welfare Society took 6-2-6 to the shelter. The next morning, he wakes up in a cage, surrounded by barking dogs. 6-2-6 doesn't understand what they want from him, and the searchers' kids run around, also not knowing what they want. When 6-2-6 angrily breaks out of his cage, all the dogs hide from him. He escapes, finds and eats another cake on the way. He seems to have a cake fetish or something. Anyway, the cake was actually bait that the animal shelter staff put out for him, so they could shoot him with a tranquilizer dart and catch him. 6-2-6 shields himself with the tray until he returns to the shelter, then climbs up the wall. In the picture, the girl holds and hugs a dog. This inspires him to transform from an alien into a dog, acting like one until the girl likes him. At that moment, she adopted him, allowing him to escape from Dr. Jumbo once more. Back home, Nani argues with Lilo about not wanting the strange creature, refusing responsibility for him. As he tries to leave, their grandmother-like neighbor intervenes, saying a dog like him will help Lilo feel less lonely. It means the CIA notices the spaceship and ramps up their efforts due to the unusual occurrence. Meanwhile, Lilo and her grandmother were present. In the old cartoon movie, the character was called 6-0-6 in the Arabic dubbing, but 6-2-6 in the English version. We're going with the English version now. May God help us. Later, she got them ice cream, but some girls showed up and started bullying Lilo. And here, 6-2-6 steps in and hits one of them, then takes her toy car and messes with the wires, and the car starts moving at a crazy speed. Then she took Lilo with her until they reached the end of the mountain, and of course 6-2-6 saw the sea. So Lilo took 6-2-6 to the shore to swim, but 6-2-6 was clearly afraid of the water and ended up staying in the sand. They had a great time until Nani arrived and took Lilo and 6-2-6 in the car. Of course, she wasn't herself at all, just like that. The important thing is, she wasn't herself because of what 6-2-6 was doing, and of course, Lilo was really upset. She thought about what to name him before deciding on Stitch, which is also the title of the movie, Lilo and Stitch. And the cartoon is about 266 and 622, but anyway, what's wrong with naming him Stitch? Why did the boy have that excitement? Anyway, after Lilo named him Stitch, we'll call him Stitch, and that's it. We won't call him anything else. He's just Stitch. Stitch. The important thing is the friends. Nani argued with Dr. Jumba in the car. Dr. Jumba let them go, but secretly attached a tracking device to the car to monitor their location. Nani was late for work, so she took Lilo and Stitch with her. And Stitch was completely out of control. I mean, he basically says, "Put me in chaos and I'll be the happiest among people." He started breaking glasses and equipment, setting the place on fire. The manager fired Nani, and they left the place. And her name can't stand a word, but the car does the same thing to her too. Nani and Lilo Stitch go home after that, and the head of intelligence was watching them. And Nani knew that this was the house all along and that this was the problem, before the spaceship. And let me tell you, he asks Abu Karag, who has nothing to do with the companions. The important thing is that Stitch enters the house and finds it tidy and beautiful. So he starts breaking and messing up everything. How could a place be so nice? No, stop, son. We have to ruin everything. Nani and Lilo had another fight, resulting in Stitch being sent back to the shelter once more. But at that moment, Yu tells Nani that Stitch has become part of her family. And then Lilo takes Stitch and goes to her room. She takes out a photo album and tells him how beautiful and happy Nani used to be. And she tells him that family can't be chaotic. And she teaches him how to dance the traditional dance. And at that moment, she teaches him how to dance the traditional dance. At that moment, Y understands Lilo's message and embraces her beauty. He hugs her, having learned what she taught him. Well done, Stitch. The following morning, the intelligence chief arrives with the social worker and introduces himself to Nani and Lilo as a specialist. He's social because he wants to get closer to the house and Stitch. He figured it out as he wants to take Stitch and leave. How did Kassan make an exit and determine his connection to the spaceship? But what do you expect from intelligence? Lilo tells him he doesn't look like a social worker, but in fact, he is one. However, he's not just a social worker, he's a guy who came and deceived her. And while they're talking, he takes a couple of hairs. Stitch analyzes them, then Nani takes Lilo and Stitch job hunting. While Nani attends interviews, Lilo teaches Stitch how to be calm and behave well, and then Nani comes out. She sadly informs them that all employers turned her down. But here's the best part. Stitch learned to be good. He now desires love and friendship instead of chaos. He brought an ad for Nani's job and a surfing lesson. And of course, Nani was very happy because this is something she's loved for a long time. And I'm like, Alexandria's beach, the breeze on the seashore. Stitch was afraid of water and sat eating sand. But then he saw someone surfing with their dog, making Stitch happy at that moment. And he told Lilo that he would surf with her, no problem, and he actually overcame his fear.
He wasn't scared anymore and started surfing.
Just like that, he surfed with Lilo and Nani, and they were really very happy until Dr. Jumba and Pleakley showed up on a boat. And then they threw another tranquilizer dart at Stitch until it hit him. A big wave flipped the boat over, and the surfboard also got flipped into the water. And then Nani rescued Lilo and Stitch from drowning. And who are they calling? They're calling the head of intelligence from outside. Do we see the friends after that? Nani took Lilo to the hospital, and she was fine. But Nani is worried about the hospital expenses since their grandmother passed away and their father isn't around. And here, of course, the social worker tells her that she can give up custody of Lilo, and then the government will cover the hospital expenses. You really are a specialist. Nani, being a true friend, considers how leaving would hurt Lilo. When they return home, Lilo tells Nani she understands. Why is she giving up custody? And that she will love her and does love her no matter what, and knows she's doing this for her own good. The important thing is, who was listening to this conversation? Uncle Nastitch gets upset and leaves, then returns to the orphanage, and sits in the cage he was originally in. Why are you so bothered, boss? I mean, is it impossible for you to be an alien entity? This person is a leech I know well. Then Dr. Jamba's friends arrived. A call from the president of the Union of the Queen of the Galaxies, of Malid al-Nabi. At that time, I told him that humans found out, you idiot. Of course they found out about the 606 issue. Then I told Blakely to arrest Jamba, and that his mission was over. Of course, she was going to send a couple of men to handle the situation. Jamba went straight to Blakely at that time. He decided to destroy the starship himself. The next morning, the social worker and the head of intelligence. They knock on Nani's door to get custody of Lilo. When they enter and look in Lilo's room, they don't find her. They go outside to search for Lilo. She was searching for Stitch and found him at the shelter. We discover that he chose to leave due to causing these issues. She embraces and comforts him, telling him at that instant, "It's not your fault and all families have flaws." Uncle Jamba enters with a space gun, opening portals. Stitchio cleverly takes the gun, making a hole in the ceiling and floor. Jamba goes through the floor portal and comes down from the ceiling one. And it keeps happening. Honestly, it reminded me of when Dr. Sting said, "I was done on Earth." Anyway, this guy betrayed Lilo, and Stitchio managed to escape and get home, and Jamba wanted to finally get rid of the portals. He transforms from human form after being thrown, and returns to normal, reaching Lilo's house. Lilo and Stitchio hide as Jamba searches for them in Stitchio. The man continues using the gun to open portals, allowing them to travel between rooms. Jamba grows frustrated with the kids and begins destroying the house, aware that humans are hurt by the loss of their good memories. The aliens are aware of this information. Anyway, Jamba's friends, because he was out at the time, go into Lilo's parents' room. Here, Lilo tries to challenge them, but Stitch comes and shoots the gun into her parents' room. Stitch intervenes, hits Jamba, and threatens him with the gun, but Jamba remains defiant. He told Lilo that 6-2-6 only had her take him from the shelter, so a human could protect him from them, not because of love. Lilo was shocked by this revelation, and Stitch admits his mistake, so he decides to surrender himself to Jamba. But of course, because Jamba can't be trusted. The important thing is that he was supposed to capture Stitch and hand him over to the Galactic President. As for Jamba, he took Stitch, so they can upgrade him and make him 6-2-7. Wasn't he 6-2-6? We're going to upgrade him to handle the new mission, but as 6-2-7. Anyway, am I the only one getting confused by all these numbers? So the important thing is that Jamba took Stitch and put him in the spaceship at that time. And he was surprised how that guy named Stitch 6 suddenly had feelings like that. So at that time, he wanted to remove that emotional part from him. But then he discovered that Kanyat Lilo was on the spaceship with them. And after that, Stitch saw her and showed her how to free them. But with so many buttons on the spaceship, she kept searching and pressing every one until finding the right button. When Stitch finally got out, he hit Jamba and threw him out of the spaceship. But the spaceship was descending very quickly. Stitch and the others, unaware they could jump into the water, watched as the spaceship sank into the ocean. Afterward, Stitch stood on a piece of metal, searching for Lilo. Unable to find her, he looked under the water. He found that a part of the spaceship had fallen on Lilo. So he quickly went down with all his strength and saved Lilo. But he felt heavy and couldn't swim, and Lilo had also passed out and couldn't move. He tried once and twice, but couldn't do anything until Stitch reached Lilo and did the dance he learned from her before giving up. Nani arrived and saved Lilo, who was shouting because Stitch remained underwater. Nani. After that, she decided to go down, picked up Stitch, and ran with him to save him. She actually brought him up to the shore, and he wasn't breathing at all. The defibrillator failed to revive Stitch, requiring a higher voltage of around 50 volts. Once connected, Lilo shocked Stitch's body with more electricity, successfully waking him up. Their joy was short-lived as another spaceship suddenly appeared, revealing a new presence, a ship from President Marji Malad Al-Nabi. At that time, she's with the soldiers protecting her, and they come down to arrest 626. Yes, 626. Stitch surrenders, but requests to bid farewell to his friends, as he will miss them. At that moment, the President of the Galaxies recognized Stitch's good side and revoked the decision to exile 626. So as long as you care about each other this much, and she confirmed that he can stay with you on Earth, but only if no one finds out about him, okay? So of course the head of security decides, and also that he won't tell anyone about what happened. Wow, that's amazing, Chief. Anyway, what's next? He was meant to observe Stitch's behavior to comprehend him and the mischief he creates.
Or what?
The Galaxies agreed to take the creature with Varys as they left Earth. That concludes our story for today, which I won't forget.